Up YouTube. Today we're watching. Don't decide this is just not. We were watching the worst hijackings that led with no. Hold on, let me see. Plane jackings where no one survived. Okay, I thought it was the worst hijackings. Let's get into it. This is by Boxhead. Shout out to him.
Let's talk about a plane hijacking incident where everyone on board tragically burned to death. All because the hijacker wasn't happy about being fired.
Burned? That's gotta suck, bro. Is my mic on? Yeah. Bro, burned? I had a second degree burn going down my legs. Oh my god, it was pain I've ever felt in my life. I can only imagine dying to fire. Bro, that's gotta suck. I'm gonna stop yapping now, hold on.
From his job. Yeah, I'm not even kidding about this one. December 7th, 1987, a plane
Oh yeah, no, because he got fired, that's crazy.
crashed into a hillside, killing everyone on board. What happened was nothing short of horrifying. Let's rewind a bit. The hijacker was a man named David Burke, who was an employee of US Air, which was a larger company owning some smaller Pacific Southwest airlines. He was born in Croydon, England, but immigrated to the United States later on in his life. When he got older, he worked for the US Air in New York, but was actually suspected of being involved in a street pharmacy ring smuggling, let's call it the Devil's Snow. He was doing this between Jamaica and...
Devil's Snow goes crazy. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard for. If you guys are wondering why I'm not showing my face like a normal reaction, it's because even though I am 14, YouTube's like, no, you're 3. You're 3, bro. You're 3. We're gonna take down your video. But I'm 3 if you add a 1 and then add a 10 and an 11, but.
New York and using the airline to do it. Yeah, some would say that wouldn't fly today.
Okay.
But Boxheads, get this, Burke was never officially charged. He knew the authorities were onto him, so before anything officially happened, Burke moved to Los Angeles so the authorities would just, leave him alone. In case you didn't, pick up on this already, our guy Burke was a bad cat. So I searched on the internet and he was described as being a violent man by previous girlfriends, neighbors, and law enforcement. He'd been arrested for domestic violence, but again, the worst thing that really ever happened to the guy was a night in jail. Gotta love the justice.
A night? 1 night in jail. You're telling me these motherfuckers that speed and get, months in prison? And then we got this guy. Which, what, he was caught harboring drugs? And then apparently hijacking. A night in prison? A night in prison. There's people that jaywalk and get longer than that. That's crazy.
System, man. And to top it off, he had 7 kids with 4 different women. This guy couldn't pull out of a goddamn driveway. Alright, enough about pulling out. Let's go forward to right before the flight.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. This motherfucker couldn't even pull out of a fucking driveway.
Everything went down. Burke was actually fired. For what, you may ask? He stole $70 goddamn dollars from the flight liquor revenue.
70?
And he was also suspected of operating another street pharmacy. I'm guessing by now you know what I mean by street pharmacy. There were not many details on it, so as far as I'm concerned, nothing happened. So let's get this straight. This guy almost got caught smuggling the first time. Literally fled to Los Angeles just to risk it all again. What are you chasing, my man? A sugar high? Like, what's going on? And as you would expect, he got fired for stealing
some sort of high.
Like I mentioned before. Even though he was clearly in the wrong, he felt that somehow he was screwed over by the company. Some people, am I right? So a very pissed off Burke decided he was gonna hurt the company that hurt him. And this man's grand plan was to go and borrow a .44 Magnum revolver from his co-worker. Why this man has a revolver is beyond me, and honestly, I kind of wonder how that went. Hey bro, can I borrow your gun? For what? Reasons. This, of course, is going to end so well, as you could probably read from the title. Oh, I also forgot to mention that even after he was fired, he didn't give back any of his credentials. Which credentials, you might ask? The employee security bypass that he used at the checkpoint to give him access to inside the Los Angeles International Airport. And more importantly, the damn planes. Of course, this was before 9/11, so airplanes kind of operated more like bus stations. So nobody was questioning this guy at all. Okay. After boarding the plane, Burke wrote a message on an air sickness map. It read, hold on, let me get the exact quote. Hi, Ray. I think it's sort of ironical that we ended up like this. I asked for some leniency from my family, remember? Well, I got none and you'll get none. This guy didn't write so good, huh? Not much of a languager, they would say. It wasn't long before the plane took off. The engines rumbled and the plane was in the air, with Burke stowed away somewhere, you know, like in the back of the plane. Once it was cruising at an altitude of 22,000 feet, Burke made his way to the cockpit.
22,000, damn.
Recorded the cockpit door while it was being opened. And you know, when the hijacker was entering. Hey, you can't be in here. Burke smirked and
I don't care.
Pointed it right to the pilot's head. Pulled the note from his pocket that, you know, he wrote earlier and handed it right to him. What is this? What? Oh, please, no. Burke then turned the gun to the co-pilot. Wait, I have a...
Damn.
Flying at 22,000...
Right then and there? Bro, I expected them to keep my sausages. Not just unload on them. God damn. The fuck? What do you get out of that? Just boom, boom. They're not the people that fired you. The fuck?
Feet over the California coast when Burke shot the damn pilots. The only one in the damn cockpit flying this plane in the air is this nutcase. Yeah, crazy, am I right?
What's going on?
Said a flight attendant who heard the shots going on in the cockpit. Burke shot her too. Blood spattered on the wall behind her and it was just a complete mess. Burke was laughing and then he took control of the damn plane. He pushed the throttle all the way down and the plane entered a dive. The plane was falling out of the sky and headed straight for a hillside below. 21,000 feet. Screaming and yelling is heard in the back of the plane. 18,000 feet. The passengers are horrified. 15,000 feet. Pull up, pull up. Pull up.
Boom.
The alarms are going nuts. Altitude warning. 5,000 feet. The plane was at a dangerously low and falling altitude. An off-duty pilot entered the cockpit to get control of the plane, but it was too late. Kaboom! At 4:16 p.m., after Burke had shot both of the pilots and hijacked the plane, it crashed straight into the rocky hillside at the speed of sound. The plane...
Bro, that's just so fucked up. I don't know how people can do that, bro. What just makes someone go, I want to take someone's life today. Like the fuck? Bro, hell no. Hell no. I can never do that, bro. If you're planning on murdering someone, just think about it, bro. You're taking this person away from their family. This person might have done something to you, but imagine their family, bro. That's just so fucked up to me. I can never murder someone. That's too much thing for me, bro. Especially, what, like 200 people? Only 200 people are on a plane. Sometimes 100. I'll just say 100 people.
Disintegrated instantly, killing
43.
every single person on board. And get this, the crash was so violent, only 11 passengers were ever even identified. During the investigation, the authorities found out that Burke had left a goodbye message to his girlfriend. And get this, his coworker actually admitted to lending him the gun. Could you imagine that you were responsible for 43 people dying just because you decided to give a psycho your gun? Oh, good lord. This hijacking, though, in specific, actually changed some laws. It is now...
Why pamper your face but give your body?
Bruh,
Get
I don't care. I don't care about Dove.
The many corporation for airlines to take credentials the second they fire someone. So you know, they can't just walk through the security. And on board were multiple executives from Chevron, which led to many corporations making policies that high-ranking officials can't be on the same flight as, you know, each other, because all these guys died. Okay, this next one is absolutely horrifying. So get this. North Korea sent 2 agents out into the world to blow up an airplane. The plane was Korean Flight 858. It was an international flight between Baghdad, Iraq, and Seoul, South Korea. Now, the flight had over 100 people on board. Wait. Before we get into that, since you guys enjoyed my $10 giveaway so much in the last video, let's go ahead and do it again. The least liked comment.
Seeing how he's plugging something, I'm gonna plug something. Join my Discord, link in bio or description. Join it now.
On this video will get $10. Obviously, you must be subscribed and you also have to be in the Discord.
Aw.
So I can
I might
contact
join.
you if you win. So why in the world would anyone want to blow up the whole plane? Well, for those that don't know, the North Koreans and the South Koreans don't like each other much. And as the world waited for the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, the North Koreans decided that blowing up a passenger plane headed to Seoul would get athletes from around the world to not want to go anymore. Yeah, this whole thing sounds crazy, so let's rewind a little bit, Godsuds. It all starts with two North Korean agents, Kim Hyun-hui and Kim Sung-gil, who were trained by the North Korean government. Their mission was to place a bomb on Korean Air Flight 858 and detonate it, with the goal of killing everyone on board. Yeah, over 100 people. Messed up, right? Kim Hyun-hui and Kim Sung-gil traveled under Japanese aliases, using fake Japanese passports, which is how they got on the plane without any suspicion. Oh, so they think all Asians look alike, huh?
Oh,
Before
okay.
you attack
That's
me in the
crazy.
comments,
That's
do
crazy.
not say anything until you see my
That's crazy, bro. That's actually kind of crazy.
face reveal. Anyways, the North Korean spies boarded the flight in Baghdad.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, face reveal. We're getting a face reveal?
Where they carried with them the device that would end the lives of everyone on board. A bomb that did this. Seriously, pre-9/11 air travel security was just a joke. The bomb was disguised as a Panasonic transistor radio and a bottle of liquor. By the way, the liquid explosive was what, was in the bottle. And the machine to set it off was the radio. The bomb's timer was set to detonate the device mid-flight. Korean Air Flight 858 left Baghdad and made a scheduled stopover to Abu Dhabi. During the stop, the two North Korean agents got off the aircraft, but not before leaving behind the bomb in an overhead compartment in the airplane. I bet they were real nervous about a delay when landing. The agents then traveled separately to different destinations, trying to cover their tracks. After the layover in Abu Dhabi, Flight 858 continued its journey to Seoul, with the bomb still on board in the plane. No one on board knew what was about to happen. The aircraft took off from Abu Dhabi at approximately 11:30 a.m. local time, with 104 passengers and 11 crew members on board. The passengers included the South Korean workers returning home, businessmen, and foreign nationals, all with families to get back home to. At around 2:05 p.m. local time, as the aircraft was cruising at an altitude of 37,000 feet over the Andaman Sea, suddenly
30,000 is crazy. Boom.
the bomb detonated. The explosion went on from the overhead compartment, causing the instant decompression of the aircraft. As everyone was panicking, the second bomb went off.
There's two?
There was an explosion in the
I thought there was only one.
blasted a hole in the side of the damn airplane. Everyone near the bomb was vaporized almost instantly. But those passengers were the ones who got it easy. The rest of the plane, not so lucky. The plane ripped apart instantly. Pieces of the plane with the passengers still in the seats hurtled toward the ocean from 37,000 feet in the air. This was
Damn.
the roller coaster from goddamn hell. The sudden explosion and disintegration of the plane meant that there was no time for the crew to send a distress signal, which means their fate was sealed. All of the passengers and flight crew were killed instantly. That's just
Damn.
horrifying. The wreckage of the aircraft was scattered all over a wide area in the Andaman Sea, making recovery
Bro, that
efforts
sucks.
very hard. The disappearance of Korean Air Flight 858 confused and scared everyone, especially the families. When the aircraft did not arrive in Seoul, search and rescue teams went out looking for it. However, the Andaman Sea is huge, and no one even knew what happened. So finding the wreckage was nearly impossible. Some would say a needle in a haystack. Rescue teams searched the sea, and authorities began to put together a story about what happened to the flight. They knew it has been attacked, but by who? The investigation began. They checked through thousands and thousands of flight logs to find the one that looked kinda off. It wasn't long before the authorities saw that the travel patterns of the two North Korean agents were very strange, and how they got off before the connecting flight to Seoul. Okay, I'm gonna call this one Kim H because I feel like I'm butchering the name, so I'm gonna make it easy on myself. So Kim H and Kim Sung-il were detained while trying to board a flight to Rome using fake passports. But obviously, I think the two agents saw this coming, so they had a plan for if they were ever caught. They were trained to never give up a damn word. Get this whole thing is about to get crazy. The two were brought into detainment rooms for an obvious interrogation. Who sent you? Yelled the interrogator. Casually, Kim Song-il opened a pack of cigarettes and put one in his mouth. He smirked and
That's crazy. That's actually kind of
He decided
crazy.
to crunch it, and as soon as he bit down, his head slumped and smacked his face right into the table. This man died instantly. The police and now you guys, I guess, were completely stunned.
Yes.
Heck, I mean, I was even stunned. It turns out he was trained to bite into a cyanide-laced cigarette, if he was ever caught. That's some crazy spy work, am I right? Well, said the police. It's gonna be kind of hard to question him now. By the way, I'm making all this up. I just want to make the dialogue sound cool. Well, we have the other one. Go, go, go. Stop her now. The police rushed into Kim H's detainment room just in time because this homegirl was asking for her cigarettes back. But no. Your pal already tried that. Kim H was extradited to South Korea, which means the Bearhin authorities sent her back to face trial in South Korea, where the people weren't thrilled that she did that, to say the least. Well, as soon as she got there, she confessed to the bombing. She basically told them everything, including detailed information about the plot, the construction of the bomb, the involvement of the North Korean government, and the training she and Kim Song-il had received. Bro, she really went from "I'd rather die than talk" to "okay, here's everything." Real. The bombing had an insane political fallout, as you can
That's
probably
fucking
imagine.
crazy.
Next, we have a story where one woman risked her life to save the passengers on board, but ended up getting brutally, unalived. Let's just get right into it. Pan Am Flight 73 was scheduled to go from Mumbai, India to New York City on September 5th, 1986. There were 379 passengers and crew members on board, and all of them were about to be a part of one of the worst hostage situations in history. It all starts with 4 armed men from a group of terrorists called the Abu Nidal Organization. For anyone that doesn't know, and you probably don't know, they were Palestinian military men that were super highly trained to, unalive people. Anyways, these men all drove through a security checkpoint in, get this, a fake police van. Man, talk about the irony, am I right? Anyways, like I said before, pre-9/11 airport security was not known for being the best. And once they got past the checkpoint, their mission was pretty clear. Hijack the plane and force it to fly to Cyprus, where they plan to exchange the hostages on board for their imprisoned comrades. I don't know what they really saw these people as, like Pokemon cards? Like, you can't just go there and trade people, bro. This is not how this works.
That's crazy.
Anyways, they were armed with assault rifles, pistols, grenades, and plastic explosive belts. They boarded the plane in Karachi, Pakistan, disguised as, get this, airport security personnel. The hijackers struck with military precision, broke down the door to the cockpit, guns blazing. They took control of the entire aircraft. The flight attendants, realizing the situation, tried to start evacuating the passengers, forcing them to the rear end of the plane, trying to save as many people as they could, and also trying to keep everyone calm. Imagine trying to stay calm during a hijacking like this. Yeah, right, I would be screaming my lungs out, shawty. You ain't keeping me in control. Anyways, let me introduce you to one woman that was specifically noted in this hijacking that we're gonna talk about, throughout this whole story. Her name was Nerija Bernard, who was actually a flight attendant who was a total badass hero. I mean, right as the attack began, she alerted the cockpit crew, who managed to escape through a hatch, effectively grounding the plane. I mean, think about it real quick. No pilots? That means no takeoff. Smart move. Okay, well now the plane is stuck on the ground, let's get into what was happening inside. The leader of all the hijackers, his name was Safrini. And obviously he wasn't too happy about the plane being grounded, so, he kinda got a little mad. He made his demands known, and if you forgot that already, his demand was to fly the plane to Karachi. But things were taking way too long. So, Safrini searched the plane for a perfect person to use as a threat. Yeah, and he went and grabbed 29-year-old Rajesh Kumar. Safrini grabbed the man and told him to get to the front of the plane, and then used him to threaten the authorities. "Kneel!" he shouted at Kumar, and Kumar got on his knees in front of the aircraft. "If we don't have a pilot in the next 30 minutes, I will shoot him in the head." Or said something along those lines. Shortly after, Safrini got impatient and grabbed Kumar. Safrini shot Kumar in the head in front of everyone. Yeah, kinda messed up. Well, plan B. Safrini then ordered the flight attendants to start collecting passports. He wanted all of the Americans on board to be identified. This guy must really not like Americans. I don't really know what that means for me. Nirja's bravery didn't stop at just alerting the pilots. Next up, she started hiding the passports of the American passengers to prevent the hijackers from, identifying them. Since Kumar didn't get to live long once he was dragged out of the plane. For the next 16 hours, the passengers just sat in fear. They were hostages. Every now and then, they would get called to speak with the leader. One of these guys was a British man named Michael Thexton, who at the time lost his brother. Now, he has to go talk to this psycho hijacker leader guy. Mike looked at Safrini, terrified obviously, and begged him not to kill him, because he said that he didn't want his mom to be childless. And guys, it actually worked. Seems like a man with a heart if you kind of forget the part where he blew a man's brains out and he's hijacking a damn airplane.
Seriously.
Don't go to the comments. I'm kidding. He's not a nice guy. He's a bad man. Don't storm the comments. Okay, now let's talk about what was happening outside of the airplane. Negotiators were outside of the plane and were probably like, hold on, sir, we're working on it. Trying to obviously stall for more time to save everyone. I mean, just imagine that. Every minute probably felt like an eternity. As you would probably expect, things went from bad to worse. As the night fell, the plane's power began to fail. The lights were flickering and then just went completely out, plunging the cabin into complete darkness. The hijackers, paranoid and desperate, believed that the commandos were about to storm the damn airplane. In a panic, they opened fire and threw grenades into the crowd of passengers. The scene that followed was pure chaos. Screams, smoke, blood. I mean, it was just a nightmare. The hijackers were shooting everyone they saw. The grenades blew holes into the side of the plane. Everyone's ears were ringing. People were running all over the plane trying to find a way out. Nirja once again trying to save the lives of others before her own. And in her final moments, she was shot while trying to guide passengers to safety. Like, hold on, guys. Do you actually know what type of person it takes to save the lives of strangers before your own? She was shot while trying to shield 3 children from the gunfire.
Hell of a badass. She got my respect. Damn. Bro, that's crazy. That is just the baddest shit I've ever heard, bro. Saving 3 children? That's cool as shit. Something tells me she's a mom. Something tells me she was a mom.
Passengers later said that the only reason they even survived was because of her. Anyways, back to the story. Outside the plane, Pakistani commandos were gearing up for a rescue operation. Oh shit, Bill, should we go? What do you think? They're killing the hostages. Is probably what they were saying to each other, because why the hell were they taking so goddamn long? When they finally stormed the aircraft, there were unalive bodies laid across the cabin, with the survivors in a state of complete shock. The hijackers were captured, but the damage they inflicted was too horrible to even think about. Out of 379 passengers, 20 were killed, and over 150 were injured. The 359 still alive were left with injuries and severe PTSD. After this tragic day, Narija Banat was awarded the Ashoka Chakra. I really hope I'm saying that correctly. I really want to be as respectful as possible. Anyways, this is the highest award for bravery the Indian government has. And man, it was all rightfully deserved. I mean, it's true what they say. Not all heroes wear capes. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and act like there's a happier ending in my last video about cave explorers that suffered painful deaths. But if you want to hear more about that,
that was gonna be the video I did a reaction on. Alright, that's gonna be the end of this video. Bye, y'all. Make sure you join the Discord, like and subscribe for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.